I really don't know what to say. I'm so overwhelmed beyond measure by the accolades and praises showered on me by my colleagues, especially by Chief Justice Renato S. Puno. Thank you so very, very much from the bottom of my heart. Mr. Chief Justice Renato S. Puno, my colleagues on the court, Chief Justice Andres R. Narvaza, my former mentor in the University of Santo Tomas, Chief Justice Artemio B. Panganiban, also my mentor, especially when I was new in this court, and other retired members of the court who are so close to my heart. Senator Pamphilo Lacson, a very good friend of my husband. Acting Presiding Justice Edilberto Sandoval of the Sandigan Bayan, my relative. Presiding Justice Ernesto Acosta of the Court of Tax Appeals. Chancellor Amor Tina Melencio Herrera. Other members of the judiciary, incumbent and retired. Members of the Diplomatic Corps. Reverend Father Rolando de la Rosa, OP, Acting Rector Magnificus of UST, and other Reverend Fathers, the Good Shepherd Sisters from St. Bridget's College, my alma mater. This court's development partners in its judicial reform program, my other co-workers in the judiciary, relatives, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a very meaningful good afternoon. Today, I graduate from the judiciary. Let me start my valedictory by expressing my gratitude to all concerned. With all my heart, I thank first of all the Almighty God. The good book says, many are called, but few are chosen. With His amazing love, the good Lord chose me to join the breed of magistrates destined to sit in the highest court. Next, I am most grateful to my loving parents, whose burning ambition was for me to be a lawyer. Little did they know that after they were gone, I will be elevated to this court as a magistrate. Likewise, I thank my late husband, former NBI Assistant Director Diego H. Gutierrez, for having been my anchor and counsel in my judicial career. My children, who, despite their mother being an absentee from home almost every day, never complained and instead did their best to become what they are now. And to my auntie, sister, and brother, nieces and nephew, and my sisters-in-law, who have showered unconditional love and care on my children, especially during my absence. My sincerest gratitude also goes to President Corazon C. Aquino, who appointed me as judge of the Regional Trial Court of Manila and as magistrate of the Court of Appeals. President Joseph Estrada, who appointed me as Associate Justice of this court. My colleagues in the court, with whom I was privileged to be a co-dispenser of justice, the most difficult role in the government service. My special thanks to the members of my staff who have assisted me effectively and unselfishly in my work. May I request them to stand to be recognized. It seems they are all outside. To Attorney Marisa Villarama, our hard-working clerk of court. To the equally efficient 3 division clerks of court, Attorneys Baby Vidal, Ludici Nuñag, and Lucita Soriano. and to all my other co-workers in this court, and to all of you who join me today in this very significant milestone in my life, my profound gratitude. I have been asked by some of my friends how I view my judicial career in this court, and I explained this way. When I first entered the judiciary as trial judge of the Metropolitan Trial Court of Manila, I knew then that my mission as a public servant is to administer justice. Along with this mission, my motto has been, "He who renders justice lives in the service of the Lord." A remarkable phrase taken from the Holy Book. Yes, in all those long years I was dispensing justice as a trial judge in the Metropolitan Trial Court of Manila, Regional Trial Court of Manila, and as a magistrate of the Court of Appeals in this court, I was serving the Lord. And serving Him signifies serving the country and our people as well. I find it relevant to mention what President John Kennedy said. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. With all humility, may I say that administering justice for more than a quarter of a century is what I have done for this country. At this point, may I express that my public life has been nourished and sustained by the love and care of my family. My husband was constantly supportive of my career. It has been said that for every successful man, there is a woman behind. By the way, I'm referring to the wife, not to any other woman. Considering the role of my husband in my judicial career, I am convinced that likewise, for every successful woman, there is a man behind her husband. And yes, how can I not give credit to my children? I am incredibly fortunate being their mother. And I am proud to say they are my priceless treasures and my greatest achievements. And may I introduce them to you. Eileen, a senior state prosecutor in the Department of Justice, and her husband, Robert Marcon, a law practitioner and an ideal son-in-law. Francis Joseph, a senior attorney advisor for the Federal Communications Commission in Washington, D.C., and James Gerard, an associate attorney in one of the biggest law firms in Manhattan, New York City, the Strzok and Lavan Law Office. My children are the manifestations that, with God's grace, I was able to blend effectively beyond my imagination, my being a mother and my judicial career. With understanding beyond their years, they resigned to the sad reality that I could only spend limited but quality time with them. My dear kids, let me say for the first time in public that I am mighty, mighty proud of you. Now I'm talking as a mother, not as a magistrate. Incidentally, Francis and James are still single. This is not to mean that I am calling the attention of single young ladies from the audience. But who knows, maybe I am. It is too early to reminisce, but I will certainly miss the Supreme Court and my colleagues. And of course, all the activities here especially our deliberations and debates during the in-bank sessions. Let me tell you that justices in the highest court are men and women of strong convictions. They have no business being there if they are meek and submissive, or accustomed to turning the other cheek, so to speak. Sometimes during discussion of complex issues, like the constitutionality of executive and legislative issuances, there will be exchange of heated arguments and explosive viewpoints expressed with burning passion. Those were moments of tension under most trying conditions. Indeed, emotions could run high. Thus, it was but natural to expect the sound of thunder. But the final word of the Chief Justice and the casting of our votes, whether we concur or dissent, would cool matters, and the justices would be nice to each other again. There were several days we would not speak to each other. Certainly, I will miss these passionate events, and of course, the camaraderie and congeniality among the justices. Likewise, I will miss the oral arguments before the in-bank session in this hall, which sometimes could last even past midnight, and during which I could readily discern the brilliant and not so brilliant lawyers before us. I will also miss the flag ceremony every Monday morning, the only time the justices and core personnel would be together, and the melody and lyrics of the Philippine judiciary and the Supreme Court hymns. I will miss the Supreme Court choir and its enchanting, beautiful songs, blended in perfect harmony. And yes, the jokes of the justices in the first and third divisions. Chief Justice Panganiban was our former chair, and I guess he was also enjoying those jokes where I was a member, especially coming from, guess who? Justice Coronel, may kababayan. Truly, those jokes could evoke uncontrolled laughter, which lessened our stress and burden. Most of all, I will miss the countless hours I spent in decision writing, and the satisfaction and joy I felt every time my decisions were concurred in unanimously by my colleagues. I cannot end my piece without expressing my concerns about the High Court. Every year, many cases involving the rights of citizens vis-à-vis the government have been reaching this court. Fortunately, in resolving these controversies, the court has demonstrated its independence. While there have been criticisms and false assaults against the court, however, it has maintained its equanimity and serenity, leaving to others, especially the members of the bar, to undertake its defense, but usually they don't. Are there members of the bar here? Do you agree with me? You don't, defend the court. You don't. I hope you will soon. And this is very sad. It is consoling to note, however, that there were countless times its decisions found favor with the media, the academe, and other responsible organizations and individuals. In fact, its former member, I hope he is here, Justice Isagani Cruz, a well-known critic of the court, to our surprise, rated the Supreme Court, then headed by Chief Justice Artemio B. Panganiban, summa cum laude. For each ponencia in Randy David et al. Versus President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo et al. declaring the major provisions of Proclamation Number 1017 unconstitutional. We are in the midst of perilous and uncertain times. The authority to lead the country by the present administration is being challenged by various sectors of our society. The Senate continues to bewail that each power to conduct investigation in aid of legislation has been hampered by the Executive Department's continued invocation of the principle of executive privilege. On the part of the lower house, its independence from Malacanang leaves much to be desired. There are perceived corruptions in almost all government agencies. Extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances have been the raging issues almost every day. Thus, our countrymen's confidence in our government is being shattered. In their hopelessness and desperation, their only refuge is the Supreme Court, this court. Fortunately, the Supreme Court, under the stewardship of Chief Justice Reynato Espuno, has shown its activism for the welfare of the Filipino people, especially the oppressed, by issuing the rules on the writ of amparo and the writ of habeas data. And lately, the Supreme Court, speaking through Chief Justice Puno, ruled in Francisco Chavez versus Justice Secretary Raul Gonzalez and the National Telecommunications Commission that the official statements made by respondents warning the media on airing the Garci tapes constitutes unconstitutional prior restraint on the exercise of freedom of speech and of the press. With this landmark decision, the Supreme Court has shown once again that it is the protector of the people's rights enshrined in our Constitution. Would you give the Supreme Court a big hand for that? Chief Justice Panganiban, in his column, With Due Respect, in the Philippine Daily Inquirer dated February 17, 2008, hailed the Supreme Court for championing press freedom and once again live up to its long-held reputation as the bastion of liberty. I thus pray that the court will maintain its independence and moral courage. May it remain vigilant in upholding the rights of the people and continue to be steadfast in its tasks mandated by God and the Filipino people. My judicial work intertwined with my activities in the Judicial Reform Program. It was initiated by retired Chief Justice Hilario G. Davide Jr., now our ambassador to the United Nations, continued vigorously by retired Chief Justice Artemio V. Panganiban, and is being undertaken zealously by Chief Justice Reynato Espuno. On this point, I fervently wish that before he retires in 2010, Chief Justice Puno may realize the successful completion of all the projects involved, especially the construction of the Manila Hall of Justice, so close to my heart, and the computerization of all the courts in the country. In this connection, I find it relevant to thank all the development partners now present, led by Mr. Anthony To of the World Bank, for their assistance to this court in pursuing its judicial reform program. Thank you so very much. But may I request Mr. To, Mr. Jerry Tucker, Mr. Misiva, Mr. Silvales, and former Administrator Evelyn Dumdum to stand to be recognized. Thank you so very much. Incidentally, I was assured by several magistrates who have retired, led by Commissioner Pepe Melo, that there is life in retirement. Is it true? I believe in their wisdom. Chairman, I'm sorry. Starting tomorrow, I will be free like a lark and will be on my own clock. I can spend more time with my children and the rest of my family. I can stay abroad with my sons as long as I want. I can travel anywhere I want to go. I can read all the books I want to keep. Be with my classmates and friends more often. Spend longer hours in prayers and engage in church activities. And I can go back to my piano. In being able to play again my favorite classical pieces, especially Beethoven's Emperor Concerto No. 5. Right now, I am beginning to fall in love with my retirement. A new phase of my life, aptly described as the third age. And yes, this retirement program with your presence, my dear friends and relatives, will not just be a memory. It will remain alive in my heart as long as I live. Finally, I can honestly say that I will leave this court with no regrets because I did my best. I did not fail those who came my way in their search for truth and justice. As what St. Paul stated in one of his epistles to St. Timothy, the time is here for me to live